that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either.
Their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
Tonight, we pull back the velvet curtain on Hollywood's glittering stage and step into the shadow world where power brokers decide who wins, who disappears, and who dares to fight back. Ice Cube has always worn defiance like armor, but lately, his refusal to play the quiet guest has rattled the gilded cages of Tinseltown's gatekeepers. He doesn't just speak truth to power, he shouts it through a megaphone, and that makes the clubhouse nervous. They forgot that the kid from South Central learned long ago that comfort zones are cages dressed in velvet.
Ice Cube is shaking up the gatekeepers just by making appearances with Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, Piers Morgan. He's having an impact. He's normalizing a behavior of, hey, let me go sit down and talk with anyone and reject the programming that I can only talk with who corporate media, the Democratic Party, Democratic politicians, and social media tell me I can talk.
Cube's story starts with a simple realization. When you're not invited to the table, build your own. From his early NWA days through blockbuster movies, Cube put success on his own terms. Yet the higher he climbed, the more closed doors he found. Imagine producing Barbershop only to watch the cast laugh on primetime while you wait outside the studio gates. Imagine pitching the provocative reality series Black, White, and then being told your voice, your very point of view, just doesn't fit the vibe.
I would think you'd be the person Oprah would want to promote. I mean, you grew up in South Central, you were successful at a young age, you have dignity, you say what you think. Like, I thought that was the goal.
Me too. You know, I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast. I produced a show called Black, White, and it was a very controversial show. And once again, they had the whole cast on, but I wasn't invited. And so I don't know. I don't know what that's.
On Oprah.
That's when Cube spotted the pattern, an invisible club whispering in boardrooms, drafting blacklists, and delivering polite rejections wrapped in PR jargon. Their message is always the same: fall in line or fall off the radar.
That I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what? Who? Come on, man, stop playing. So, ever since I put out the contract with Black America, you know they've been with me. Here and there, this and that. But it's cool, you know. I expect that. You know, I've been working with, you know, on the big three for a long time, and you know how they've been with me with that. I done made it, you know, plain, simple, and clear what they've been doing. You know, the NBA been with us. Now, a lot of people might say, like, well, but Cube, you want to work with the NBA. Really, I don't give a fuck about working with the NBA. What I want them to do, when I say work with us, is to stop working against us. Stop doing that bullshit behind the scenes that we know you're doing. Mainstream media, you know, they ain't fucking with us. And that's cool. We can do it ourselves, you know what I'm saying? We still on the rise without...
But Cube won't whisper. He goes where the conversations are loudest. Carlson, Joe Rogan, Piers Morganini platform big enough to echo dissent. Oh, and every appearance jolts the system because it tells artists, athletes, and armchair rebels they no longer need permission to speak.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been, you know, I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Why?
Well, a few of the guests just really didn't like where I was coming from. So, or a few of the hosts, I mean. So that's what I was told by the producers. You know, I don't know if the producers was just copping out and using some of the hosts to not have me come on and explain myself, but I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah.
Hollywood's royalty, meanwhile, polishes its brand of progressivism. Fronted by none other than Oprah Winfrey, the media titan celebrated for lifting voices, yet accused of silencing the ones that raise tough questions. Taraji P. Henson's pay dispute on the color purple set. Oprah calls it rumor. Critics call it proof of a double standard that pays lip service to equality while quietly nickel-and-diming black talent.
This movie was important because it created a space and roles for a group of black women.
Yes, and I would just like to say about this whole Taraji, you know, I heard I was trending yesterday because people are saying that I was not supporting Taraji. Taraji will tell you herself that I've been the greatest champion of this film, championing not only the behind-the-scenes production, but also everything that everybody needed. So whenever I heard that there was something that people needed, I'm not in charge of the budget because that's Warner Brothers. You know, that's the way the studio system works. And we as producers, everybody gets their salary. That's negotiated by your team. And so whenever I heard there was an issue or there was a problem with the cars or there was a problem with the food, I would step in and do whatever I could to make it.
Still, Oprah fires back, calmly framing herself as the ultimate ally. The fixer who steps in when budgets pinch and catering trucks stall. Publicly, she beams. Privately, Cube insists the invitation never arrives.
Well, Oprah Winfrey is hitting back at claims that she created a negative experience for the cast during the filming of The Colour Purple.
Now, speculations started when one of the film's stars spoke out about being paid inadequately in Hollywood, as well as criticising production for making cast members drive themselves to set in rental cars. But the media mogul has shut all of those rumours down, saying there's no bad blood between the...
The rift ripples beyond paychecks. Comedian Monique claimed she was blackballed after refusing unpaid promo work for Precious. Her relationship with Oprah souring in phone calls that blurred business and betrayal. Monique says one word, no, and suddenly doors slam, scripts vanish, and a difficult label sticks like tar.
I got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now, I said no to some very powerful people. What Tyler Perry showed me, Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate. When you don't do what we ask you to do, we'll take your livelihood.
But this isn't the only difficulty that Monique is facing at the time. So while she's getting backlash because she wasn't playing the game, Monique had been betrayed by somebody that she never saw coming. This is where things shift from professional to deeply personal.
What happened?
Her hurt deepens when Oprah broadcasts family wounds on national television without warning. Monique's mother, her estranged brother pain paraded for ratings. Forgiveness? Complicated. The scars still show when she grabs a mic and vents raw, ride-or-die honesty in late-night comedy sets.
If Oprah was watching this, what would you tell her?
I would say, Oprah Winfrey, you know what you need to do, and stop hiding behind what you call was negative comments, what you call, oh, I don't even deal with things like that, because what people are beginning to do is see you for who you are. Where Oprah Winfrey and I have a problem is Oprah Winfrey called us up and she said my brother wanted to come on the show and talk about him molesting me, and he wanted to tell other parents how to look out for molesters. My brother Gerald is a charmer. So my mind thought was, because she said, do you want to come on? I said, I don't want nothing to do with that cat. I said, nigga, I know it's up to us.
Meanwhile, whispers swirl about Oprah's South African Girls Academy. Abuse allegations. Hush-hush investigations. Official statements clear staff, but rumors linger like smoke long after the fire marshal leaves.
Authorities found out about it, and the employee was charged with 13 counts of getting inappropriate with kids. Turns out at least 6 girls aged 13 to 15 were allegedly systematically and ritualistically targeted. Oprah went on record saying she was going to look at the situation, but after her investigation, the employee was cleared of any wrongdoing, and some allege Oprah had a hand in trying to cover it up. But these incidents continue to rock the school, including a newborn baby being found unalived at the school, which some say was for
Cube watches the madness and doubles down. If mainstream media won't carry his mission, he'll engineer his own signal, the Gatekeepers podcast tour. A guerrilla press run that bulldozes past PR flacks straight to the people.
What am I gonna do to deal with these gatekeepers? Well, what I'm gonna do is go on the Gatekeepers podcast tour. And I'm gonna go talk to everybody, and get a chance to get my message out to the people. Be able to let people hear from me, and you might agree, you might not, but the important thing is, for me to go on these platforms, say what I feel about what I think. And, some people may get pissed off because I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm not playing. And it's gonna be a crazy summer. It's gonna be fun. Appreciate y'all. Always support the big three. Hopefully I'm doing stuff that you guys dig. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for people that's bored as in the summer with summer sports and want something cool like the big three. So here we are. Appreciate.
He's not alone. Hip-hop icon 50 Cent once named his dog Oprah out of spite. Fed up with what he calls her one-sided takedowns of black men while Hollywood's powerful white predators skate by.
I didn't have anything against Oprah.
You just called her a bitch.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You named your dog Oprah, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Look. I remember that.
No, look. Every time she made a mention to hip hop culture, it was something that was wrong with it, and it was something that was on my CD that was the largest debut in hip hop album. You're looking at it and you're saying that everything that's wrong with our culture is why I'm a success.
Wow.
So when I actually got a chance to talk to her, she was like, I never thought about it like that. She's not where she's at by.
Critics slam Cube for his stance on COVID mandates and gender politics, calling him reckless, toxic, outdated. He shrugs, says free minds don't carry warning labels. They brand him contrarian. He calls it breathing.
Do you think that it's harder to be a man in America now than it was when you were a kid?
Yes. Saying what you feel, being yourself, is what they call toxic. We shouldn't be called toxic for our instincts and for, I was born this way. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Why can't we be ourselves? We were born this way too.
So there are some groups, like if I say I'm trans, then people say that's great, you were born that way.
Take his blunt riff on identity. If society cheers someone identifying as anything they choose, why attack a man who identifies as unapologetically male? The punchline lands with a pigeon metaphor that lights Twitter on fire.
So there are some groups, like if I say I'm trans, then people say that's great, you were born that way, we affirm you. But if you say I'm just a dude with male instincts, you're not affirmed, you're attacked.
Yeah, I mean, everybody doesn't really have to affirm you, you know? If I wake up and say, you know, I feel like a pigeon. I want everybody to treat me like a pigeon.
Cube isn't chasing applause, he's chasing authenticity. And authenticity is messy, unscripted. Sometimes offensive qualities, the Go Long Gat Long gang would rather sweep backstage.
Some people may say, whatever, Cube, they treat you like a pigeon. But some people may choose to be like, dude, no. That's your world. I'm not part of it. And I have to be ready for that. It's a big world out here. Everybody doesn't have to adhere to.
Beyond gender debates, America's culture war rages in commencement halls where million-dollar speakers preach wokeness while graduates drown in debt and dread. Some parents whisper, walk out. Life's first lesson isn't conformity, it's courage.
If you got kids in college and the commencement speaker is likely to spew out woke rhetoric, encourage them to stand up and walk the hell out. That will be one of the best life lessons that you can give them before they head off into the world themselves. Play the clip.
You are the generation that is forced to depend on body cams to obtain justice. And even then, accountability, as we've seen again and again, can be so hard to come by. You witnessed the storming of the Capitol and the death of civility. You're acutely aware that voting rights are being gutted, women's rights are being dismantled, books are being banned, history is being rewritten.
It is funny to me that a lot of these people pushing these agendas are already filthy rich and largely unaffected by what they want the rest of us to comply with through either being forced to change or agree with. And it is so weird that the Dems seem to never be concerned about the real issues like inflation, high gas, foreign threats, and the crime.
Why do you think we're in a happiness slump in America?
Ooh, I will tell you, one of the most profound reasons, I think, is because everybody is looking at other people's social media, what they believe to be other people's lives, which is only a snapshot of other people's lives, and feeling envy about that. And one of the things that Arthur and I talk about in this book is that envy is the great destroyer.
The happiness killer.
It is the happiness killer. And so anytime you're looking at anything else with envy, you have already killed your own happiness or your ability to be happier in that moment and probably in moments to come.
Cube's courage birthed the Big Three, a 3-on-3 basketball league built for summer boredom and pure competition. No NBA politics attached. The establishment tried to ignore it, then undermine it behind closed doors. Cube's answer, keep winning until they can't look away.
That I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either.
Their brand of politics, I guess.
But if you can't think for yourself, then you're not really free, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
Oprah, for her part, lectures millions on envy, happiness, and trimming toxic friends. Good advice if only those words didn't ricochet off accusations that she screens friendships by net worth and usefulness. Asterisk.
You need to surround yourself with people who are going to stimulate, inspire, and lift you up, who are going to give you energy and not take energy away from you. And if you're around people who are taking energy away from you, that's an energy drain, and that is the sign from your instinct, your inner voice, your intuition to say, let them go.
Wow. Elsewhere, conspiracy threads not around Oprah's alleged ties to Harvey Weinstein, gala circuits, and the hush-hush list of Hollywood's untouchables. She promises silver linings. Victims want justice, not metaphors.
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually.
Back on the comedy circuit, Monique reminds us that truth is the new taboo too raw. Too loud, too alive for polite society. The crowd laughs, cries, and wonders how many careers went silent because someone powerful pressed mute.
And so I can see how that could be a little contradictory in saying, I love my sister, she's been dope, but she's been the help for all these years.
Yes.
How do you reconcile the two?
Well, I told the truth. And what happens is we're now in a society that the truth is offensive. See, I too have been the help. And the very man Whoopi Goldberg told me to get rid of, which is my husband and my manager, he said, Mama, you've got to stop being the help. Because 100 years from now, when your image is on that screen, somebody else's family benefits from that, not mine.
Thank you for staying up late with us here on The Factor Uncensored. We have a great program for you, as we do every night. Oscar-winning actress and comedian Monique is making it clear how she feels about Tyler Perry. They have been feuding for years. Monique had accused Tyler Perry and Oprah of blackballing her from Hollywood. And despite Monique apologizing to both for those claims back in February, it appears Monique still has hard feelings towards both Oprah and Tyler Perry. She went in on the icons during a recent comedy performance. Take a look.
Oprah Winfrey! And what of the missing girls allegedly tied to Oprah's Academy? Internet sleuths shout into the void, demanding updates everyone else seems eager to forget.
Why have all of the girls went missing that was at that school graduating class and nobody is talking about it? I'll tell you why. Because you guys are protected and I don't appreciate it. I want you guys to tap in, tune in, comment. If you guys know about it, talk about it, spread the word, share this. Those girls in Africa went missing. That was at Oprah's school, Oprah Winfrey. Where were these girls at? Has anybody found them? Why is there not enough coverage on this? But those 5 guys that went missing, RIP, definitely feel bad for them. That's a lot of coverage. Of course.
The questions pile up. Did money buy silence? Did prestige outvote principle? Cube keeps digging, microphone in hand, ready to toss every uncomfortable fact onto the table.
Wait, that sounds like right-wing extremism and whataboutism.
But I've been shut out. You know, some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, I'm an outsider. And so, I'm not part of the club.
But even he knows that change isn't handed down. It's seized one candid interview, one rebel league, one raucous podcast at a time.
And we begin to talk about our relationships with our mothers and our fathers. And I shared my relationship with her about my mother, as she shared hers with me, which I will never repeat because she shared it with me about her mother and father. It might be something she shared with everybody, but wanted to make me feel special. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was in our moment. I shared with her that me and my mother was not talking. I shared with her we were in a really bad place. I shared with her I was hurt and, trying to figure this thing out. She never said my mother was coming on that show, because had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm gonna have your mother, I would have said, shut it down. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother.
So buckle up. This isn't just a feud. It's a fault line splitting the shiny Hollywood facade. Not, on one side, scripted empathy and curated activism. On the other, Raw voices, bruised but unbroken, determined to carve their own lanes. When Ice, Cube says it's gonna be a crazy summer. Believe Himby, cause storms don't need studio backing to roar. Stay tuned, stay skeptical, and remember, every time a gatekeeper locks the door, they forget rebels know how to pick locks in. Film the whole thing.